Final hour for the week. OverDrive continues. Powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Bryan Hayes-B, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles McLennan, Graham DeLaet coming up live from Augusta. Just a few moments. Corey Connors, 2 under today, 6 under for the tournament. He's in a great spot, and there's a number of guys still coming home. There's some wild stuff happening out there. Cam Young 3-putted from a foot earlier today. Bernie Longer did not make the cut.
Did you see the Cam Young business?
Yeah. Scary, man.
I think there could be scar tissue there for that.
Yes. He hasn't been playing great either, and that one stings, man. That one really, really stings. But anyway, we'll see what Graham could tell us about what he learned today. I noticed that McIlroy, he dipped out yesterday, didn't do media. Took off, no media. Today he's up there on the podium talking about how great he played. And
that's insane to do that.
Bothers me,
if,
man.
If
you
bow out the day before and you all of a sudden want to hear everybody pumping your tires the next day, if I was the media, I would have just stayed silent.
Well, I just watched a clip where someone asked him, like, what did you learn about yourself? Or what did the world learn about you? And he's like, well, just how much belief I have in myself. Well, if you had belief, then why didn't you talk yesterday? If you had so much belief in yourself, even though
have some stones and say, you know what, I'm going to go out there tomorrow and shoot 5 under. That's my only way I'm going to win.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
And now he's up there talking. He can't, hey, anybody else? What else we got? I can't wait to take
Being
questions.
a hero, pointing at people and stuff. But did somebody, would anybody ask him, hey, why didn't you talk yesterday?
I don't know. I haven't seen the whole thing. It wouldn't surprise me if someone asked him, what was the thought process?
That has to be a question. If you're in the media and you're kind of cheesed that he wasn't there yesterday, someone has to have the stones to say, you're pretty excited to be up here today. Why weren't you here yesterday?
Yeah. Or let's go back to yesterday. What happened? We're still waiting for your explanation. What happened on 15? What happened on 17? Yeah. But, yeah, he's up there. He's very happy today, as he should be. Listen, McIlroy shot the lights out. DeChambeau played very well. Justin Rose, 8 under for the tournament. He's still in the lead going into tomorrow. But we got Canadians into the weekend. Connors is into the weekend. Nick Taylor's even par. He's into the weekend. So, all in all, it's going to be likely a great, great week of golf. So Graham DeLaet will join us here in just a moment.
My guy Pendy had a bit of a tough finish.
He had the Cam Young 18, man. He was hacking and whacking, and he took a double on 18. I think he finished 8 over par maybe for the tourney. That's his first time there. It's tough, man. It's tough. Yeah. First time playing at Augusta is very, very difficult to do.
I get it, but when you're playing with Fred Couples, under no circumstances should Fred beat you.
Valid.
Yeah, that's
yeah. Fred shot 4 over, I think, for the tourney, and he beat him.
65 years old.
Yeah. I mean, Freddie just cruises around that place, though. He's hitting hybrids, and he just
understood, legend, everything. Hybrids. You shouldn't lose to Fred Couples.
You shouldn't lose to Fred Couples, and that is the amazing thing about this tournament. And where you look at a guy like Rory. Like Bernie Longer is still playing. He wrapped up his final round today. What is he, 67, 68? Freddie Couples will probably play 1 or 2 more years. But guys that's the beauty of this tournament is even when your professional career is done, you're not in your prime, you can't win, you're not on the PGA Tour, you still exist in the golf world because you get to show up at Augusta.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's where it's like, Rory, you got to be a part of that. You got to win so in 10 years when you don't qualify anymore, you can still play. And you can show up, and people want to, you can still be a figure within the sports world and within the golfing community.
To your knowledge, has anyone ever picked one off by not qualifying, just being a past champion? There has to have been, no?
I'm not sure. I can't imagine, man. I mean, I can't imagine these guys weren't still qualifying for the tournament. Was Nicklaus in 86 still a top 50 player? Was he... He wasn't playing a ton at that. Maybe Nicklaus. Maybe in 86, he didn't technically qualify, based on where he was in world rankings and exemptions and all that. But, yeah, it's been an unbelievable 2 days. And today in particular was just rock star stuff down at Augusta. You can watch it all on TSN. You'll catch it on TSN all throughout the weekend. And big part of the panel down there is our main man, Graham DeLaet. And he joins us now from Augusta National. We'll begin with McIlroy. What do you make of Rory not speaking to the media yesterday, and then today he couldn't wait to get up there? He would have spent 45 minutes talking to the media today after shooting 6 under.
Yeah, I think it just goes to show you how disappointed and, upset, and probably he thought he just kind of let another opportunity slip away there yesterday and just kind of, dodged everybody and got out of town. But, yeah, I think today he'll take all the questions, and I'm sure he'll have to field a couple of why he skipped town yesterday. But pretty impressive stuff from Rory.
Yeah, just unbelievable, man. Like, he was one under making the turn. He was very, very, I wouldn't say he was conservative on the front nine, but he was just kind of plodding along, and he didn't have a ton of opportunity to score. And then I think he birdies 10, birdies 11, gets up and down on 12, eagles 13, and then birdies 15, which is huge. Like, how significant was that in your opinion, GD? The fact that he recovered from what happened yesterday, and he got through 15, 16, 17, 18, and ends up putting a number where he's right back in the tournament.
Yeah, and it's like, you kind of almost knew that in order for him to get back into this tournament, he would have to go on some sort of run. And he would, like you said, I think you said it perfectly. He plotted his way around nicely. He almost played like Scotty Scheffler golf. Like, that's what Scotty does. He just kind of like goes about his business. Doesn't look like he's doing anything crazy. And, he's in fourth place or whatever it is right now. And it's like, it seems like he hasn't even had his game yet. And that's what kind of Rory looked like through that front nine. And then the fireworks hit. He stacked one on 10 and then, hit another one close on 11, about 3 or 4 feet. He got away with one a little bit on 13, but he took a chance there, and he went for it out of the pine straw even if it's an accessible pin or not. It took a little bit of guts to go for that, and was able to, knock that putt in for eagle. And then, yeah, I think, going for that 15th green, and he wiped that second shot a little bit. When you get ahead of it and open that club face off and the ball's up in the air for a little bit longer, and you lose it right, it never goes quite as far. And I think he felt like he probably got away with one there, and then made a really good 2-putt there all the way across that green.
GD, you mentioned Scotty. Like, is that a part of Scotty's greatness? Tiger's greatness was you could put him behind a tree and he could rope hook a 2-iron to 10 feet, and then he would make the putt. This guy just, like, if it was that easy, everybody would be doing it, but he just does it. Like, he loafs around there like it's just a casual walk in the mall, and he's up near the leaderboard. It's incredible to watch the guy.
Yeah, it is. And in all honesty, it's kind of funny. Like, if Scotty had, like, the jam and the excitement that Tiger has, he plays a very similar game, in all honesty. Like, Tiger won most tournaments by just consistently, like, the cream rising to the top. Like, he wasn't a guy that a lot of times went out and shot 61 or 62 and kind of bolted out in front. Like, he hit more greens than everyone. He didn't make any mistakes like everyone else did, and he made all the putts. And that's kind of what Scotty does, but he just did it with a lot more flair. And if Scotty Scheffler had some jam and some excitement and, like, played to the crowd, he is Tiger Woods. In all honesty, not quite the same maybe playability and shot making that Tiger had, like those crazy shots, but he can hit all the simple shots that Tiger's always been able to play. He just kind of just lulls guys to sleep.
Yeah, it's unreal. Go ahead.
Yeah, you talked about Rory and his bounce back. What about the guy, Nick Dunlop, who blew a 90 yesterday?
GD, what's he feeling after a 90, man? That's a lot for a tour pro.
90. Well, I was trying to think. Bobby Weeks asked me last night what the worst score I ever shot on tour, and I think I shot in the 80s twice, and I think I know I shot 80, and I might have shot an 81. Like, I can't even imagine how bad you have to play as a professional golfer, and how many things have to go wrong, and how early you'd have to check out, and, like, just the emotions you'd be going through, complete embarrassment. But so I in all honesty, like, I would have assumed that he would come out and shoot something under par today, just because he's a hell of a player. It was either that or he shoots like another, like, 87. We never hear from him again. He loses his card and he's out of here.
Yes,
that could destroy the confidence.
Absolutely. That's MIA status if you do that back-to-back, especially at this place with Graham DeLaet. Day 2 of the Masters still wrapping up. But Corey Connors, 6 under for the tournament, 4 under yesterday, 2 under today. He hit about a 3-foot putt on 18, a huge 2-putt par, I think, to get into the clubhouse. And as it's currently set up, he will go out tomorrow with McIlroy in the second-last group. What have you seen out of his game, and what would your message be to him going into the weekend?
Well, I mean, look, he's a more accomplished player than I've ever been, so I would probably be reaching on him for any experience. But I mean, he's just got to enjoy the moment, I think, more than anything. I mean, like, he's in the final couple of groups playing with probably the best player in the world. Scotty's the number one player in the world, but I really think that when Rory's playing his best, he's the guy. And but yeah, I think throughout the last couple of days, and he even said yesterday he didn't really feel like he had played that great, but he finished so well. It's like he wasn't playing his best golf, but he was 1 under through 14, just kind of cruising, just almost like we were talking about with Rory here today. And then he birdied 3 of his last 4, and all of a sudden, boom, he's in at 4 under par 68, and he doesn't even feel like he played that great, but he had a great finish. And then today, super consistent. On a much tougher day, like the wind was kind of it wasn't like pumping out there, but gusting a little bit and a little blustery, and definitely a lot more thinking involved today. And I mean, if he can keep just doing what he's doing, he's going to be in the mix. And like, he's got such a good track record here. He's got to be confident, knowing that he's played this course well so many times, and you just got to enjoy the moment and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I hope though that I'm sure he realizes the opportunity here, but I want to see his mentality going into the weekend thinking, I don't want to just be top 5. I want to win this thing. And in order to win this thing, he's got to probably shoot like 68, 68. Like, look at the guys he's playing with. It's DeChambeau, it's Rory, it's Scheffler. We haven't even mentioned Justin Rose. The guy's in the lead, and he's won big tournaments, major tournaments before. Like, 70, 71 isn't going to win it. You know what I mean? You'll finish top 5, definitely top 10. But I hope Connor shows up tomorrow and goes, screw it, man. I don't care who I'm playing with. I'm going for it, man. I'd rather try to shoot 67, and if I miss, I shoot 74, than try to shoot 70 and shoot 70, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, for sure. And sometimes the best thing to do is put a number in your head and just go chase it. Know where your opportunities are. I mean, all these guys, they look at their pin sheet before. They know the scoring holes, and as long as you hit a good tee shot, where you can attack. And you have to go in full attack mode on those holes, specifically because what you said is you're playing against the best players in the world here, and like it's the cream of the crop up at the top of the leaderboard. Like, it's going to be an awesome weekend. And just make sure that the holes that that are going to be playing tough, figure out a way to make a par and move on to the next one and really attack those birdie holes.
GD, in your playing days, was there ever such a golfer or golfers that, like, weekend of a major, they would take it deep on Saturday night or Friday night? Or was that completely... That's insane.
Not when you're in the mix. No, not when you're in the mix. You take it deep on a Friday night when you MC.
Yes. Miss the cut and floor it in Augusta.
So there's no golfer out there that you're aware of in contention that would be like, big night on Friday night. I don't tee off until 4 p.m.
No, I don't think that exists anymore.
John Daly in his day, maybe?
For sure.
I would think so, yeah. I would think so.
Yeah, he's a different character altogether. But it is it's interesting, like, and I'm guilty of this. We've been on the air for almost 2.5 hours. I've mentioned Justin Rose like twice, yet the guy's in the lead. Yet you can't help but look at the board and say DeChambeau, McIlroy, Scheffler, from our standpoint, Connors, Lowry's at 5 under. He's sneaky, man. He's playing so well right now. It's a murderer's row, man. Like, Bryson, McIlroy, and Scheffler are all within 2 shots of the lead going into the weekend.
Hayes, everybody probably has the same idea when they think of Justin Rose. How long before he crumbles? That's what they're thinking.
Unfortunately, that's the truth. Like, shoot 75 and get out of the way.
How long is he going to hang around for? How does he manage that, JD? Because I thought he was a little safe today. It was like 3 wood off of 8. I was like, I don't know, dude. I don't know about that one.
The one thing I'll say, I don't know if you guys saw on SportsCenter, but I met up with his caddy Sunday evening after the Players. Met him in a cigar bar and I had a couple cocktails and was kind of chatting to him. And I'm like, Fooch, how long are you going to do this? He's like, I want to get another major, Graham. I'm like, you think Rosie's the guy? Like, I kind of said it like that. He goes, yeah, man, he's got one more in him. I'm like, no way.
Okay.
So he believes, and he could go pretty much work for anyone. Not that he would leave Justin Rose, but like, he could go pretty much caddy for anyone, and he's sticking around because he thinks he can get one with him.
Dude, you love a cigar bar. Like, what's your story? Are there ones?
Yeah.
Are there any in Augusta? Like, do you have a spot dialed in down there, or what?
No, but I got a little travel humidor. I've been smoking one out back pretty much every night. Well, every night, watching hockey and smoke a cigar. We got a hot tub. It's been nice.
Oh, that's a great setup, man. That is a great setup. Well, listen, man, it's going to be a blast this weekend. You stay away from that Bob Weeks too, man. What's his egg salad sandy tally at right now?
I think he's about 8 or 9. I'm not exactly sure. You have to ask him, but he's putting him back.
Yeah, it's scary, man. Stay away from him, please.
Dude. This guy's underpants are going to run back to Toronto.
Scary scene down there. We love Weeksy, but that diet, man. Tell him to mix something else in.
I don't want to hear that again.
8 or 9 sandwiches.
All right. Graham, great catching up with you, pal.
Thanks.
Chat soon. There he is, Graham DeLaet. That guy loves a cigar bar, man. We hit one up in Montreal for the President's Cup, and he is so dialed in there. I couldn't last, man. Doogie and I, we were in there for 40 minutes. I'm like, I got to get out of here. Like, it's too crazy. I don't like cigars. Like,
and it gets in your in your system.
Man, there's no escaping
your whole gear has got to go to the cleaners after that.
Man.
It's
that was
outrageous.
it. I came home. My wife was like, what is going on here? I'm like, cigar bar, DeLaet.
Yeah,
Doogie, what are your thoughts on the cigar bar? Doogie, you hit one up in Montreal. Any thoughts?
Honestly, boys, it was actually a vibe in there.
Yeah,
it felt good.
You were mixing
Doogie
it up.
at a cigar bar?
Doogie was in his element. He was in his element. I was the only one not smoking, I think. I was one of the only ones. I just was like, I'll take a couple drinks, but
just walked in and I was handed a cigar.
You were right in the mix. Yeah, Doogie was right in his element. It was actually a sight to behold. He was right there with DeLaet, man. But, yeah, they got a good setup down there. Full coverage on SportsCenter on TSN throughout the weekend. It's going to be a great weekend. All right, we've got our best bets still to come. We got Dear Hayesy-B coming up as well. And we caught up with the skip himself, John Schneider. He's probably he might be at a cigar bar right now in Baltimore.
Exactly.
I mean, it's definitely possible. Mail-In and Friday brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you'll get it all in 20 minutes or less. So fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. That and more still to come. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app. All right, Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. I'm on the Lightning tonight, paying massive minus money. I'm going to parlay that with the over in the Habs-Sens game tonight. So that parlay paying plus 135. Today's Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Live same-game parlays are now available for every NHL game on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly. 18+, physically located in Ontario. Dear Hayesy-B coming up in about 15 minutes. Dear Hayesy-B in about 15 minutes. And we had the chance to catch up with John Schneider earlier this afternoon. The Jays rained out tonight, so they're in Baltimore. Tough trip, man. Mets, they get swept. Then they win 3 in a row against the Sox. Then it goes into extra innings. Last night they lose. They hate the ump, as they should. The umpiring was terrible yesterday. But you're still 2 games over 500. You're 8-6. You're in Baltimore. Beautiful Baltimore. I love Baltimore. Always have. And John Schneider was down there, and we asked him, now that you got the day off, what's the plan?
You guys are tempting me right now. I don't know. I'm actually doing part of that. I got my feet up in the hotel watching the Masters, and we'll see where the rest of the night goes. But
Yeah.
it is nice to kind of just kick your feet up and turn the mind off for a little bit.
Absolutely.
As far as cities to get a day off, where would that rank on your list?
The bottom.
Don't radio yourself now. Just be,
Man.
like, it can't be that high, can it?
I would say there's definitely better places to have an off day. It's a great hotel. But the weather in Baltimore this time of year is great. So it's not on the top of my list.
Okay. Yeah, it's a hotel spot, and that's all that matters. Like you said, you got a good hotel, and you guys are riding pretty high coming out of Fenway. You take 3 of 4. And yesterday was a battle. It goes to extra innings. I heard a lot of the guys talking after the game about kind of gritting out games and playing with grit, and those are words we appreciate on this show. I think you were echoing them as well. I mean, what do you make of your team up to this point?
Yeah, I think, well, it's a very accurate way to describe it. It's it's a tough road trip going New York, Boston, and Baltimore out of the chute, but I think that's the kind of group that we have, from pitchers to our position players. There's been the starting pitching has been phenomenal, and the bullpen's been great as well, and there have been really close games, but we're kind of getting contributions from everyone, and I think there is something to be said about coming to the yard and expecting to win, which is what we're thinking right now. And there's a big difference in expecting to win and hoping to win. So there's definitely some different personalities, in the clubhouse that kind of amplify that a little bit, and we talk about it every single day. So it's nice that there's those conversations happening, and it's showing on the field too. So been kind of a total team effort.
John, was it good news? Happy to get the Vladdy stuff out of the way. Was that at all a distraction, or was that maybe more distraction when it came to the media and the fans on the outside? But tell us or walk us through the process, and happy to get it done.
Yeah, definitely happy for him and for us that we got it done. No matter how many times me or him, you say, I'm worried about, just today. It's there, right? It's there, and I think Vladdy's a little bit more at ease now that everything is official and completed. So he's a special guy, and I think this is obviously a huge deal for our organization, and historically big contract. So it's really cool that I've been able to kind of see him evolve as a player, both minor leagues, big leagues, and couldn't be happier for him to be rewarded for that. So, and again, there's a lot of boxes you have to check. It's not just on the field. It's, when you're making a commitment to a guy to kind of be the face of your franchise, there's a lot of things that he does that are really important to us in the clubhouse as well. So, looking forward to, the next couple of games here, but definitely for Monday, to where we can kind of, get him in front of everyone and speak to the fans. And I know that there was a lot of talk about whether or not it was going to get done. So happy for Vladdy, thrilled for the organization and for our fan base to have someone to kind of grasp onto for the next 14 years.
Schneider, that kind of number is like, doesn't that warrant more than like buying everyone some lunch? Like, that's like, you get everybody on a bird and go somewhere on a day off out west or something, isn't it, man? Like,
well, yeah, I mean, with the rain out today, you should see the team group chat going on about where's Vlad taking everyone. Yeah, that's $500 million is a lot.
Yeah,
so,
man, it's a lot.
That's Vlad, he's very, very thoughtful, though. I will say that. He takes care of a lot of people. So I'm sure he'll treat everyone in his own way over time.
With John Schneider, and you mentioned the behind-the-scenes stuff. Obviously, that kind of price tag comes with an expectation that you're going to produce. You got to be a superstar. Sure. You got to be one of the best players on the field, and that's what everyone on the outside can see is what he's going to do in the field, what he's going to do in the batter's box, what kind of numbers he's going to put up over 15 years. But in terms of the maturation of Vladdy and maybe what you've seen the last couple of years and what you think needs to be triggered or needs to possibly continue to mature, is there anything in particular you can point to behind the scenes where you say, with this type of commitment, we need this, that, or the other behind the scenes from Vladdy Guerrero Jr.?
Yeah, good question. I mean, we obviously think the production is going to be there, right, for the duration of this contract. I think what he's already done in the last couple of years is realize how much power his voice has, right, when he's talking to the guys. And I think he doesn't like to be overly vocal, but I think he understands now when he talks, people listen. And with the contract, whether you like it or not, comes a certain expectation of how we do things, the way things, how do we want them done, and he's got to live it, So I think players feel that as well, when you do get a contract like this, I think you feel a little bit more responsibility to do your part, not just production on the field, but understanding how important you are to the team. And Vladdy has already started to do that behind the scenes. I think that's what gave us, even more confidence to really, hammer out the extension, is because he really, really understands how good he is, and he really understands the influence he can have on everyone else in the clubhouse.
Well, and the amazing thing about him is, we're living in a modern sports world where a lot of guys take days off. A lot of guys, if they're 90%, they're not going to go. You had to pull him from the lineup yesterday. Like, he plays every single day. And you've been around baseball for a long time. How important is that characteristic, in terms of investing in a player, knowing, he's worth a lot. He's already worth a lot of money, but he's a baseball freak. He wants to play. You got to drag him off the field. How significant is that in terms of the leadership you're talking about?
Yeah, I love that. He's been durable. He posts every day. I think people kind of forget that about him, but he posts every single day. And, we were talking through when we left New York about getting him a day off. He was doing so much in Boston here with the physical, and he was after games going for MRIs and doctor stuff. He was really doing a lot, so we wanted to get him at least half a game off of his feet throughout that whole process. But to have a guy that plays every day, to just write in Guerrero every day, for one, it's awesome. It's great. But just to know that you're doing it, day after day after day. Bo's the same way. These guys never want to come out of the lineup. And that's just such a luxury to have. And when you're talking about a guy that's going to be the face of the franchise going forward, how you post and how you compete every single day just is a huge, huge part of it.
The tweets are popping up about how you guys are having success without the long ball. John, How do you kind of balance the success you're having and still kind of maybe letting guys know that any time now maybe step up with the long ball, or is that something you literally can't say anything about? It just kind of has to happen organically.
They know, right? I think the quality of the at-bat has been so encouraging up and down the lineup, and that's without, guys who are going to hitting homers yet. So if you guys could have been in Boston and New York and how cold, especially Boston, it's freezing. It's hard to hit this time of year, and we absolutely know that the power is going to come from the guys that we're expecting it to come from. So, not worried about it, but I do like that. I do like the way we are scoring, and I do like the way that we are trying to manufacture runs and the quality of the at-bat and beating down starters. So if we keep doing that and then the home runs start coming, I think that's when you see, a little bit more, runs scored, bigger innings, less one-run games, all that kind of stuff. But right now, a lot of it is weather. A lot of it is getting into the flow of the season, and have all the confidence in the world that these guys are going to hit the ball over the fence.
With John Schneider, and it is amazing through 14 games. Bichette, Santander, Vladdy, none of them have hit home runs. Only 3 guys on your team have hit a home run. I said earlier, if you parlayed Heineman, Jimenez, Springer as the only guys to hit a home run through 14 games, you'd have $1 billion. It's crazy to see, yet it's a reality. And again, you're over 500. And you're actually getting production from the cleanup spot, which was a huge discussion last year. We talked about it countlessly on this show. We had you on a bunch. Jimenez has hit there. Springer hit a home run in the cleanup spot the other day. And your strategy, can you take us through that? Like you're going Bo, Vladdy, Santander. You're pretty committed to that. And then you've got a guy who doesn't generally hit for power. George has clearly throughout his career, but he's always let off throughout his career. Take us through your strategy in terms of what you want between your 4, 5, 6 hitter, because it's somewhat unconventional in terms of like that power bat, quote unquote, not being there in the 4-hole every day.
Yeah, good question. And there's a lot of different ways to do it. I think the top 3, I think just watching Bo hit over the course of his career and where he kind of landed in spring training, he's instant offense when he's right. Having Vlad behind him, I think I want Vladdy up in the first inning, and I want Tony up in the first inning. So I'm pretty committed to where the 3-hole comes up with nobody on and 2 outs, more than any other time in the game in the first inning. And you get a guy who had 44 homers last year. It's a chance to just, A, give you a quick lead, and B, with the way the games are run these days, it makes the other manager think, okay, do I want my starter to face this guy 3-4 times, So that's the thinking behind that. With him in the 4-hole, for one, I love the at-bat quality. When we acquired him, meaning the organization, David Popkins, we kind of immediately said there is way more in this bat. Looking back to just a couple of years ago when I think he hit 20 homers or 22 homers or something, where we didn't want him to. You're hitting 4th, I want you to hit 30 homers. The quality of the at bat. He can either hit the ball hard, he can bunt, he can run, he can steal a base. I kind of just liked that there to get a left-handed hitter in there too. And then followed up by either, Georgie or Kirky, depending on who we're facing. I love the way George is swinging the bat. He's made some adjustments with Pop as well, and has been really, really productive and really, really efficient in his at-bat. So it's not set in stone. I love what the bottom of the order is doing too, whether it's, Lukey, Roden, Miles, Piney. I mean, these guys they're putting together really good at bats. So the thinking of it is it's almost like three parts, right? You got Bo, Vlad, Tony, you got Hemi, Georgie, and somebody, and then you can kind of mix and match at the bottom three. And as you turn it back over to the top, whoever's at the bottom too, they're pretty good base runners. So you have some contact skills, some on-base skills, and they can run the bases for when the big boys come back up around. So that's kind of the way I thought about it when I put it together. And again, it's probably going to change over the course of the year. It always does, but I really like how they kind of play, off of one another, and it's really a 9-against-1 attack.
Well, and one adjustment you'll have to make is when Dalton Varsho returns. And it sounds as if he's trending in the right direction. Defensively, your stats have been great. Your play has been great. I mean, that must be very encouraging that you got a Gold Glover who's not even playing for you, and everything has kind of been working in terms of, people doing what they're supposed to do. But what's the latest on Varsho, and how do you see him impacting the way you're going to fill out the lineup card every day?
Yeah, Varsh, I mean, for one, I think it gets so overlooked that, in my opinion, you have the best outfielder in baseball and you have the best infielder in baseball on your team every day up the middle, and him and it.
All right, there's John Schneider joining us from earlier this afternoon. We're going to come back and get to Dear Hayesy-B. Dear Hayesy-B will track the Masters. We'll look ahead to the Leafs weekend. Overdrive continues, TSN 1050 and on the TSN app. All right, TSN 1050 is giving away tickets to every Leaf playoff home game, and all you have to do is listen to us on the iHeartRadio app. Starting Monday, download the iHeartRadio app, create an account, and listen to TSN 1050 for at least 15 minutes straight. You can enter twice per day. So listen to First Up between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m., and Overdrive between 4 and 7 p.m. And the more times you listen, the better your chances of winning. Before each home game, First Up, we'll be calling one devoted Leaf fan with a pair of playoff tickets. And we're getting close. This time next week, we'll know who they're playing. It could be anyone from still Tampa, technically. Like Florida won last night. They're a point behind Tampa. I mean, I guess Florida could still win the division. Doesn't seem likely, but you're looking at Florida. Could be Ottawa. Could be Montreal. Could be any of those teams.
So Tampa's remaining games are Detroit again and Buffalo?
Yeah, and then they've got another. I don't know
the
what
Rangers.
they're at the Rangers
to
end, but they have another game. They play Florida. They play Florida next Tuesday.
Yeah, that's right. So somebody's getting points that night. It might, knowing them, it's a 3-point game, which is ridiculous. It's. I think at the end, we'll know. I don't know. I would love for us to know by Monday. But I don't think it'll be. I think it'll be by Wednesday.
I think you're probably right. But Leafs, Habs tomorrow night, that's going to be a great vibe down there. And then at Carolina on Sunday, what a weekend. You got the Masters, you've got the Leafs playing, you got the Jays down in Baltimore, you got the end of the NBA schedule, where out west it is bedlam. And outside of Oklahoma City, I think Houston, Dallas is playing Sacramento, I believe, in the first play-in game. Outside of that, everything is up for grabs. Anything could change this weekend. It's crazy. And I think with that in mind, you got to consider Dear Hayesy-B. A lot of people are looking for help here.
Exactly.
Let's get to the intro.
People send in a tweet. They write us for our professional advice on life things. Dear Hayesy-B, every morning my boiler has a gas leak. My wife thinks it's the baby.
Dear Hayesy-B.
If you want to come to Hayesy-B, I need honesty from you.
Hazy, you got dumped a lot. Tell me.
Grown adults with birthdays, it's asinine.
All right. Dear Hayesy-B, brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP, where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you'll get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. I would suggest if Justin Rose sent us an email and said, what do you suggest I do tonight? I would say get some sleep because DeChambeau's right on his heels. Scheffler just birdied 17. He's 6 under.
Of course he does. Of course he does.
It's sickening watch this guy play. McIlroy. Jason Day was bogey-free until the 36th hole. He would have been the second player in Masters history to go bogey-free the first 2 rounds. He just bogeyed 18. That's crazy, man. I think it was Byron Nelson or something, maybe. Sam Snead. Only one other player has ever gone bogey-free through 36 holes. And he was on the verge of doing that, and he chopped it around on 18.
Anyway, I think we only need one Dear Hayesy-B to wrap this thing up today because it'll make your skin crawl.
Okay.
Oh, no.
What do you have?
Dear Hayesy-B, I'm taking my future father-in-law to the Masters this Sunday. Going through some details of the trip and what we're wearing to the tournament. I have an inkling that he's wearing a golf shirt into spandex shorts with high socks for the fit. He can wear whatever he'd like, but how do I tell him that this might not be the best way to go? I need your help. Thanks.
Yeah, that's a terrifying proposition,
Who wears
man.
spandex? Like, I'm saying, like, is it spandex underneath with pants or like shorts?
The guy
over top of
DM'd
it?
me and he goes, he's a jogger, he's a walker, he's always out and about.
I know
and
this.
He goes, he said, he's not like a sports, like he just said his move is to tuck a golf shirt into a spandex and he likes to walk around the course at a brisk pace and it's his move.
Yeah.
But if it's me, I'm not letting him out of the hotel door. Like I'm not.
No.
I have to step in.
It is such a scene at Augusta. Like there are people.
Imagine around, like you get involved in a stop and chat with cool people.
Oh,
and
it's
your
crazy.
father-in-law has a pair of spandex on with a golf shirt tucked in.
With a tight tuck on a golf shirt. And I can picture this guy's vibe because what he's been told is lots of hills, lots of walking, and be ready to play, right? Be ready to play. And his version of I'm ready to play is to be dressed like this. And I'm with you, man, because it is a scene. I was not prepared for how many people are like decked out, man. We're talking people like the members are there in the green jackets and suits.
It is
and,
literally green jackets or a sweater tied around the neck.
Absolutely. All over the place. All like women decked out in like their best summer dresses, hats that look incredible. People are ready. They are dialed in.
Right.
You can't have spandex walking around. I mean, my concern would be you get there and they might say, dude, you're not allowed even in. At Augusta, they run their own program. They make up their own rules on the fly. They don't want you in.
You think he could get a tap on the shoulder for a spandex?
I think it's possible. I'm being serious. I think that's how you approach it with this guy. Say, you're risking us not being allowed inside the cage.
Do you know how offensive it is to say to someone regarding their outfit, you might not be allowed in? That is basically saying you look like an absolute donkey.
You look like Post Malone right now with face tats and the whole thing. But
it's just tough, though. You're right. Augusta has their own rules. Could they just say, like, I'm not doing, like...
Oh, yeah.
Like, security could just walk up and say,
I don't think there's a wardrobe
for
for patrons. Like, you can wear blue jeans and a...
yeah. I don't. It's a good
no one
question.
does. I don't... There's no restrictions on what
I don't recall...
can wear.
Well, there's got to be some restrictions. You got to have a shirt on. They're not going to let you walk around with your shirt on. I mean, there are restrictions. I would guess they'd be pretty careful with exactly. You can't wear anything that's political. You can't. There's a lot of different things that I'm sure that they do monitor.
Dude, I would be so mad. I would be drinking my face off thinking about waking up and having a coffee with this guy with a tight pair of spandex on.
With the high sock and everything.
I feel like we know, like, there's somebody in our lives and everybody individual's lives where you go, I could see that person pulling that out of the closet.
Yeah.
Like I
know.
When you said that, the first thing I thought about was the Quizmaster. I don't know why. I think it's a ridiculous
That's
thing
uncalled
for.
for.
It is uncalled.
The Quizmaster would
back.
never wear tight spandex to the Masters.
No, he would wear jeans and his Chuck Taylors But I feel like there's somebody.
You're in the doghouse now, boy. You are getting an email followed by 3 phone calls.
Yes, and saying how dare you think that I?
Yes.
But I mean, there is some. I guarantee you, like you could think about it and go, "This outfit, I know." So I have a buddy, like say, I got a goon buddy from high school that would wear that.
Yeah.
Like,
I
would
think what
Brando
you
wear
do to
that?
him, are you kidding?
No, he'd be dialed in, man. He wouldn't do that. But
I
you're
think
right,
what
though.
you do is you praise the guy and you say, "Look, man, you're a stock market legend, whatever you are."
Yeah.
But you say, "This is my wheelhouse." And the one thing I know about where we're going right now, no one, and I mean no one, is wearing a tight spandex with a tuck into a golf shirt.
Yeah.
So let's get it off. And I got a pair of Peter Millar shorts and a nice shirt. I want you to wear it. I got it as a gift for you anyway.
That's right.
And let's go.
That's the play.
Yeah.
We're going down. I'm going to deck you out in Peter Millar. That's the way to go. Peter
Yes.
Millar gear. You're going to look like $1 million. You're going to fit in beautifully down
'Cause
there.
you guys know me. I would start scratching myself. Like if I had to get on a shuttle and I was waiting with this guy beside me,
it would be wild stuff,
dude,
man.
it would be a
wild
wild
stuff.
scene.
Yeah, and it's a long day. There's no escaping. Although, actually, there technically is some escape at Augusta because there's no phones. So you can
Right.
pull the old, where'd you go? I came back, and which is a greasy play, but I'm sure that happens down there. There are people that are like, I got to lose this guy. He's driving me crazy. He's asking me questions left, right, and center. He won't stop. I'm going to pull the old, hey, I'm just going to go grab something. I'll come find you, and then never find the guy again.
Did you see anybody gooned? Hey, I saw a couple guys absolutely.
Really?
mangled
I
there.
saw people actually walking out that were gooned. Like I saw a couple. I went in there in the afternoon on the Sunday, and there were some people that were like they could barely make it to the exit. And I think someone said, "You got to leave." Like that would be
I
my
saw
assumption.
a guy middle of the morning with 12 cups, holding them in the pine straw, walking up 15, and he was so gooned, and then he face planted, and he didn't get up. And I said that someone's going to
That's
get
Security
trouble,
must
man.
have shuttled him out of there.
Like you got to get up,
Dude,
at
I was
Augusta,
like,
man.
this is Augusta National, man,
Yeah.
and you're crushed.
Yeah, this isn't a rock concert. Like,
No.
that sounds like Shooter McGavin, but you're actually being literal here. You see, everyone's having a good time. Like, people are having a great time, and everything's cheap down there, and it's a once-in-a-life experience, and if you get good weather and you're there early, it's a long day. I mean, I saw there were a lot of people that were putting on shifts, but I don't recall seeing anyone that was, like, walking with the players that was out of control. I'm sure there are some people because some people put a chair down and they don't move all day.
Dude,
Right.
I don't
crazy.
understand how you do that. Like personally,
I don't either.
Like,
I have no interest in sitting there for 8 hours on a chair. Yeah,
it's like I'm Amen corner. I'm right behind the tee deck at 12 for 8 hours. Like why? Like I get it. It's cool. You see guys hitting into 11, hitting off 12. Don't you want to see the rest of the place? Like don't you want to move around?
Yeah.
You got to see what Scotty Scheffler's up to here on 18. His ball is in the woods. He's on his knees trying to figure out how he's going to get this thing back to the fairway.
He's
but
not
Take it
yawning.
unplayable, man.
yeah,
Take
he
it
may want to
unplayable.
smart. Although I think he feels like he can get it out. Maybe he can get up and down and save something here. But what is interesting is Hatton just bogeyed 16, which puts it back on the shelf for McIlroy and Connors to be a pair tomorrow. And I desperately want to see that. I think Rose and DeChambeau are going to be the last pair, and then it feels like it could be McIlroy Connors because that Tyrrell Hatton, man, he shows his emotions on his sleeve. Every mistake he makes, he's losing his mind.
He's not afraid to snap a club in half on the tee.
He will. And he's always freaking out on himself. Like that's kind of which sounds weird because you're like, well, obviously, but a lot of guys lose it on the course. They snap about a break. Like he snaps on himself. He doesn't blame it on anybody else or on the superintendent or his caddy. He hates himself a lot during a golf round. But anyway, we'll see what comes of it this weekend. I have no idea what Scheffler's doing. Like, this is fascinating. He's sitting in the pine straws waiting for Thomas to play before he determines what he's going to do. But you got Justin Rose at 8 under, DeChambeau 7 under, McIlroy and Connors in the clubhouse at 6 under. It's going to be a great weekend. We got 2 Leaf games this weekend. We got the Jays in Baltimore, the Raptors wrapping things up.
Biggest show of the year on Monday.
It's going to be an awesome one on
be a
Monday.
great one.
It's going to be an awesome show. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web. We appreciate that. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy your weekends. We're back Monday at...
Light the spandex on fire. 4 p.m.?
We'll chat then.